Attention, anti-war activists. It's important to understand what the limits of the anti-war movement are due to. In order for someone to be a supporter of an anti-war movement, they need to know that the pro-war propaganda is a lie. But the problem, of course, is that the ruling class, the warmongering ruling class, controls the mass media, and we don't. So it's very difficult to persuade the great majority of Americans that the pro-war propaganda is a lie. On the other hand, and this is the point that the anti-war activists typically don't think about, the same ruling class that carries out the warmongering is the ruling class that treats ordinary people like dirt in countless ways. I'll give just two examples so that you have a sense of what I'm talking about. One is the denial of affordable housing to so many people, which is one of the main concerns that people have in neighborhood after neighborhood all across the country. Not everyone knows what the word gentrification means, but most people, working class people, are very much opposed to and angry at the phenomenon that's called gentrification, which is that in neighborhood after neighborhood, wealthy people are moving in. The neighborhood is having more and more luxury housing built with new developers, and rents are going up, property taxes are going up, and working class people who have lived in the neighborhood for generations are now being forced to move out because they can't afford the rising rents, or even if they own a home, they can't afford the rising property taxes. And where do they move? There are these enormous tent cities now for homeless people in southern states like California and Florida. And these are being filled up by people with jobs, but the jobs don't pay enough for them to rent a home. So they're living in camping tents by the thousands and thousands. And in neighborhood after neighborhood, you'll find, like I discovered in my neighborhood of Allston Brighton, which is a neighborhood of Boston, that the people who are on the streets of these neighborhoods during the daytime are the people who work there. And they would like to live there, obviously. They'd like to live near where they work, but they can't. And so they're forced to live, 2 and 3 hour drive away and to commute every day in order to find a place that's affordable. This is outrageous. It's a way that people are being treated like dirt, because it would be very easy for the ruling class to make sure that there was affordable housing for everybody. It's just, they don't do that. Another example is retail workers, who are more and more, the life of a retail worker is being made hell because they're not given regular hours. They're told, we'll call you when we need you, and when we call you, you've got to hop on over and work. And I don't care, they say, if you don't have a babysitter lined up, that's your problem. And then the bosses say, if we don't call you, well, that's too bad. We don't call you. Then you can't arrange for another job because you don't know when you're going to be called and not. You're being treated like dirt, and this is more and more what retail workers are experiencing. And I'm going to post an article where I list 16 ways that people are being treated like dirt this way. Here's my point. All the people who are being treated like dirt in one way or another know it. And they would love to remove the rich from power, to have real, not fake democracy with no rich and no poor. And the main reason that they would love it is because they know they're being treated like dirt by the rich upper class. And this is true even if, as is often the case, they don't know that the pro-war propaganda is a lie. So the realistic, sensible way to build a movement that succeeds in ending the warmongering is to build a movement that aims to remove the rich from power, which would end the warmongering. And to strengthen such a movement, one would obviously want to talk to people about all the reasons why they might want to remove the rich from power, especially the reasons that they already know about, the way they're being treated like dirt by the rich. But typically anti-war activists don't get it. They don't talk about all the ways that people are being treated like dirt, and they don't try to build a movement to remove the rich from power based on the anger that people already have about being treated like dirt. They ignore the ways that people are being treated like dirt, and they only talk about why the pro-war propaganda is a lie. And they're competing with the mass media, because you see, the pro-war propaganda being a lie involves knowing things that people can't know firsthand. And that's why the propaganda can be effective. You know, how could people know whether Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction or not? Or whether he was really, you know, killing babies in incubators, as they were saying in the first invasion of Iraq? People can't know that based on their personal experience. But they know they're being forced to move out of their neighborhood because there's no affordable housing. You see? But the anti-war activists ignore talking about what people already know about, and sort of, you know, come across as people who are sort of claim to have expert knowledge that nobody else has about why the what's being said on the television set is a lie. And, you know, some people believe the activists, but a lot of people don't. And this is a major weakness of the anti-war movement. So I suggest that we build a movement that aims at removing the rich from power and talks about all the reasons why that's an important thing to do, and especially the reasons that people already know about, okay? Well, take a look at the links I have below here, especially the one about how people are being treated like dirt, the 16 examples I give. And give this some thought, please. I hate to see the anti-war movement remain weak, as it apparently and unfortunately is. Thank you.